Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Today for August 25th, 2022. The man they call Meathead, the Matthew Thomas of the PWR Today family. It's Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
Thank you. It's always nice being part of the family. Always welcoming in to a family. So I appreciate that heartwarming introduction, Meathead.
Gracias, Mira. All right. So, Matthew Thomas, before we get into, and again, I promise you folks, I know that we're supposed to be a tight and clean 20, and Meathead's been running off at the mouth. Let us go into who's the sponsor. We're going to get right into the news and get right into Dynamite from last night. Go, Matthew.
The answer to that question is, who is Collar and Elbow? Well, let me tell you who Collar and Elbow is. They are the maker of fine apparel that caters to you, the professional wrestling fan, and the fan who wants to be comfortable in their clothing. To find out more, go to collarandelbowbrand.com. And once you're there, you're going to want to purchase some clothing from this professional clothier. You're going to enter promo code Linda, KLINDAKAY. Save yourself 10% off your Collar and Elbow order today.
As a person who does not like to wear clothes at all, I choose to wear collar and elbow.
Yeah, and I think in some instances, like collar and elbow, like it actually feels better than not wearing clothes, and I don't know how that's possible.
Not either. Matthew, I say let's do all the news real quick and let's get to it. There's one thing I didn't bring up. I want to talk. I know this is an NXT review, but I sent a message to our group chat that we have between us here. I know you talked about it yesterday morning with Linda. I want to talk Index. I legit popped and screamed at my TV when Dexter Lumis showed up from underneath the ring. I'm screaming yes. I don't care if I lose my man card. I don't care if it makes me look like a punk. I was screaming yes. I wanted that so bad.
So you and I think everybody else watching, there is an appetite for Dexter Lumis that I don't think a lot of people knew that existed.
No, hold on. There's an appetite for love.
Yeah,
it wasn't Dexter Lumis there's an appetite for Dexter Lumis. What I got was Indy got her man back.
Yeah,
and that's the part I love. I don't care.
Maybe that's just me that has the Dexter appetite. I've got a Dexter Lumis coffee mug.
Okay.
Yeah. So, a gift from my sister. I drink coffee out of my Dexter Lumis mug every so often.
But I love the storytelling here. 3 brands, 1 story of love, and then the end of the story and the beginning of the story. They literally could take this, Matthew, and make Indy Hartwell a major star. I thought he was going to carry her off to the Raw brand. I thought he was going to carry her off to SmackDown, carry her out of NXT. There were so many paths going there. I literally stood up and said, yes. What are they going to do? Are they going to? I'm talking to the TV myself. Are they going to carry it this way, that way? And then Dexter hands her the picture. Goodbye for now. Love, Dexter. And then you see the lights hit in the back. Wow, that was storytelling.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. And I think that, Linda and I talked about it a little bit yesterday. That's a case for doing.
I don't think you talked about it enough.
Yeah. That, what, we could probably get a clean and crisp 20 on that. I think maybe we could do a 3-person show just talking about that great angle. But my goodness. And that NXT crowd, especially the last 2 weeks, they have been absolutely hot. They were hot for that angle. You could hear the chants bleeding through, to the backstage segment there. And just absolute a masterclass in storytelling, and good to see the response from that angle as well.
Tony Khan yesterday and AEW had an all-hands talent meeting. A new structure for the company was laid out. Here's the part that I don't understand. Did Tony Khan tell everybody that there was an all-talent meeting, like outside of the company? Who the hell keeps telling outside why there was a talent meeting? I'm not going to say leak, because leak is such a stupid word. But
you can say mole.
I'm not going to say mole either. But if AEW had a talent meeting right before the airing of Dynamite and the live show, how do we know about this? Who's reporting out to other people?
I think that it makes you wonder, and it makes you wonder how much of that they want to get out. I mean, is the dissension, is the controversy in AEW, is that going to make people more intrigued? And I mean, it was referenced on the show last night. It just makes you wonder. I think kayfabe in 2022 is selectively having stuff, reach my favorite website, dirtysheets.com. And then that's as close to kayfabe as you're going to get.
Now, the reports on the internet was that he was very animated and impassioned. All right, so that means somebody that was in that damn meeting decided to tell dirtysheets.com that he was impassioned and animated. That Jericho
Meathead, when have you ever seen Tony Khan not impassioned and animated, though?
On the sidelines of the Jaguars game once. I mean, I don't know. Let's talk about Chris Jericho talking, Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone speaking, talking about he also mentioned in the meeting, again, according to this person who spoke to dirtysheets.com about WWE contract tampering. He sent an email to Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan right before the meeting saying, do not tamper with AEW talent.
Interesting. Meathead, I'm going to reference something you and I referenced off air, and I think it will probably elaborate a little bit more as we go into the show. But I think AEW is seeing WWE get hot and having a little bit of a feeling that they are not the cool kids in the room anymore. And it has led to some fairly sporadic booking over the last month or so, from, just blood everywhere to kind of some questionable things, and to what we got last night, specifically a certain match that we got last night.
Okay, let's talk about Dynamite last night. Here's what we had set up for Dynamite. Is this a Dynamite match card, or is this a Rampage match card? Jay Lethal and Dax Harwood, Britt Baker, DMD, Kylan King, Billy Gunn and Colton Gunn, the World Trios Championship quarterfinal match, Death Triangle in the United Empire, and the AEW World Title Unification match, Moxley and Punk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches for a 2-hour show. There's sometimes we have 7 segments on Rampage inside of an hour.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, here we go. We're going to start it off live, and we're going to start it off with Chris Jericho and the Daniel Garcia confrontation. I like this. It went about 20 minutes. I thought it was a little long, but I like the interaction because the crowd kept chanting, "You're a wrestler." And, he says, I'm taking on a guy who was my childhood hero. I even feel like I heard Bryan Danielson say something that the Popcorn Night Dave Hero used to call him, Daniel Bryan Danielson. I think he called himself that last night. Did you not hear that?
Hey, man, maybe he stopped over there and got himself some popcorn and just wanted to throw a little love there.
Yeah, so this has all led to Jericho and Bryan Danielson a match at All Out.
Yeah, and I think it was a good way that we got there. I mean, the stuff with Garcia, I really liked. I think you are in the process of absolutely building a star there. And I think this was a really good example of how you get somewhere and helping somebody along, as you get there. And I'm intrigued. I think this is going to be the match that you would expect with these two guys.
All right, how about the first match? It was Dax Harwood in singles competition, hug and a kiss from his partner. Did he look awkward after he got kissed on the head? after Wheeler kissed him on the top of the head, and he was like, okay, I love you too. Knock it off.
Yeah, that's about my reaction when I get kissed on my head.
I've kissed Damien on the head too, and I think that was the exact same look. All right, knock it off. Excuse me, Big D. But yeah, I did that once too, and it was all sweaty. It was gross. But anyway, Dax Harwood and Jay Lethal, they had a good match, but it never hit that top gear. You know what I mean? And that's okay. But after the match, Sanjay Dutt, because the winner was Jay Lethal, after Matthew Thomas certified butt crack to butt crack.
Yes. Oh my goodness! If anybody has, you've got FTR, right?
I believe I do. Yes, sir.
Drop with no penalty there.
The winner of the match, Jay Lethal, and Sanjay Dutt yells out, "You know what? I told you we'd get a trios match, but I didn't say who our partners would be." Ladies and gentlemen, I almost spoiled it there. I'm pointing right to where my thumb and my forefinger is because it's the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, this is a nice little AEW surprise. The first time that
the intro package was all Impact Wrestling, by the way.
Yeah. First time I believe we've seen them on AEW proper. Saw him not too long ago on not Rich Flair, but Ric Flair's last match. Rich Flair can still wrestle if he wants to.
You ever seen Nick Flair?
I never have, no.
It's a combination of Nick Cage's face and Ric Flair's body. Nick Flair. All right. So anyway, at the pay-per-view, it's a trios match. It'll be FTR and Wardlow taking on Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. I love it. I'm ready. I'm there for it.
No, this will be entertaining.
Okay, Daddy Ass with the Acclaim taking on Colton Gunn with Austin Gunn. In his little rap there, Max Caster mentioned the all hands talent meeting earlier in the day. Something's going on here. Again, where's David Hero, the Popcorn Knight, to say the word kabuki? Where's Linda to say the word kabuki? Because, I mean, this night just had a weird feel to it.
Are we just priming the whole thing for MJF? Like, is that what all this, like this little rolling boil that we have on this AEW pot right now? Is he been away long enough for us to have forgotten about him and it to be reaching a crescendo with some type of MJF interaction?
Do you think that MJF shows up maybe at the pay-per-view?
I don't know. I don't know. If
MJF showing up would be timed out perfectly, everybody would think that Grand Slam.
Yeah, I mean, my concern though is like, has it almost been too long? It has, yeah. You know that little
MJF
thing
was mentioned on, not mentioned on TV, but the guy on the side that it was scissoring, the Acclaimed had a bunch of MJF signs that says MJF's favorite part in Predator 2 was the window scene. I have no idea what that means.
I don't either, but I guess we need to watch Predator 2. Maybe that's a special episode of the podcast. Me and you review Predator 2. But here's my thing.
Danny Glover.
You have seen a lot of the MJF signs. I wonder if they're natural or if somebody from AEW management says, "Hey, you got a nice little seat there."
Well,
buddy.
we had a ringside plan to finally come up to fruition. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit here, but Billy Gunn and the Acclaim took on Colton Gunn with Austin Gunn on the side. This Colton Gunn wins, and I don't know what to do with this match with this. I don't know. Swerve in Our Glory came out and made the save and ran the Ass Boys off. Okay. Keith Lee didn't seem to be too worried about it, though, because he didn't get to the ring till about another minute later.
Hey, but here's the most important thing. Are those Scissor Me Daddy Ass shirts officially available yet?
You're going to have to go to AEWshop.com.
I will. I mean, it's about time, and that you can print money. That'd be a great shirt to wear to the grocery store.
Okay. Before we get to the Britt Baker DMD versus Kylan King match, we go backstage with Tony Schiavone and Thunder Rosa. And Thunder Rosa's damn near in tears.
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa has to not drop because AEW doesn't drop their belts. Their champions get to hold on to them. She has to step down, and they're going to have a 4-way match at the pay-per-view for the interim AEW Women's Champion. A lot of interim champion talk lately.
You and I don't think that we've danced around it, but what do you think of their concept of their interim champion?
I'm okay with it because the champion never loses the belt. That just says, hey, here's the champion for now. When they become healthy, when they can compete, they get the first shot. I'm okay with it.
I think it's a good story, and as much as we can talk about Moxley, I think it has provided a sufficient chip on his shoulder as far as, the title interim. And I think there's a little bit of a story that you can tell there, in the right context as well, too. So, no, I have not seen it done in other promotions, and I like it. I feel like it gives, AEW that bit of originality.
Okay, well, Britt Baker defeats Kylan King, and apparently Kylan King is going to be in the match with Britt Baker and with who else is in there? Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct.
So, and then, I understand these three being in there because Kylan King had been ranked. Guess who wasn't ranked, who hasn't been around on TV for how many months? Oh, guess who else is going to be in the 4-way? This makes absolutely no damn sense. Is that Akira Shida? Hey, welcome back. That shows how weak the women's division honestly is in AEW because it was so thin that, we need another person going there.
Yeah, I mean they're relegated to one segment more or less on a 2-hour show most weeks, and you want to kind of compare and contrast. I mean, 2 nights ago we had the women main eventing NXT 2.0, which is largely your developmental WWE show. So even some of the that type of WWE content are treating the women a lot more serious. And this was an issue for AEW early on. It seemed to get a little bit better, but I don't think it's anything that they have ever. AEW has not bet on the women as of yet.
No. Let's talk about this for a minute. Not the main event, the sub-main event. At the top of the hour, it's AEW World Champion CM Punk taking on AEW Interim World Champion Jon Moxley. We were supposed to get this at the pay-per-view. We were supposed to get this as the main event last night. It's now the top of the hour type match, which I'm okay with. That doesn't change the match. Matthew, ask how long this match was.
So before we get into that, I want to say I'm expecting Shawn Michaels and Cena in England. That was the match that went on at the top of the hour.
And then it made it to the bottom of the hour.
Yeah, and basically all the other matches that had been announced got pushed back. And I'm thinking, okay, this trios matches, many people want to see it. Maybe this thing gets pushed back. I was fully expecting that. And when it started, I liked it because I said, you know what, that's AEW saying this is a title match. We've got a 60-minute time limit. So you know what we're going to do? We are going to not insult your intelligence. We're going to pretend like this is actually, legit. And this is going to potentially go the course of the allotted time. So I didn't mind the setup.
Okay. I don't care about the stuff back of the house when it comes to me watching the match and the analysis I'm about to give you right now. I didn't care about the back of the house stuff. And when I say the back of the house, the politics, the behind the curtain, blah, 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 I don't care about that. I was promoted this huge, mega, probably the biggest main event in the AEW Dynamite history. It shit the fucking bed is what it did. I got a match that was about 3 minutes long and looked like shit. Absolute shit. What the hell is going on?
I can't make any sense of it. I can't make sense of them moving it up this week, of them scrapping a major main event at their pay-per-view within the course of the broadcast, within a backstage segment, I think, or a promo on the broadcast after everything we had last week. I don't understand them moving it up to this week. What we had, I don't understand them putting it on necessarily when they did. And the only thing I can think of, the only thing that makes sense to me was this was some attempt at some type of cerebral move by AEW, because everybody is expecting some type of shenanigans. Everybody's expecting, this is going to be a no finish or whatever to get us to the pay-per-view, to get us to a stipulation match like we were talking about last week, blood pay-per-view match or something.
Right. And that's what I'm saying to you is I don't care about the back of the house stuff. I care about what's on TV. You hyped up this huge thing.
And it's one-sided. Like your whole Punk build, your Punk title win, like that whole 9 yards, man. Like for this, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, is that the story? I mean, is AEW trying to do that on multiple fronts now? Tell the story that people are coming back too quick? That's kind of what we had alluded at with Omega last week. It's what we got last night with Punk. This just doesn't make any sense.
I'll give AEW the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's a story that they will stretch out and tell us that they're, people are coming back too soon. Maybe it's a story that they'll explain later on. Because Matthew, from the beginning of the hour to the end of the hour, we had 2 matches and an interview segment. That's what we had. We also had Ricky Starks come out and talk about Powerhouse Hobbs. I thought it was a very powerful speech that he had there. And you know what? He started giving me ugly cry face, but he pulled it back in. I thought it was impassioned. I loved it.
Absolutely. Starks is a star. And every time we see him, we get that point furthered. And last night was no exception.
Christian Cage also accepts Jungle Boy's challenge for All Out. So just like on Tuesday when we had NXT setting up all these matches for, the Power Man 5000 pay-per-view, Worlds Collide, Christian Cage accepts Jungle Boy's challenge for All Out. The main event is here. But first, we get Moxley coming out and says, well, is that now how it was supposed to go? All the people that wrote him off don't matter, and you never did. There's one John Moxley. Moxley's professional wrestling. My time is right now. Excuse me. Let me quote John Moxley. My time is right goddamn now. Whoa.
And he also, I think that was also a Roman Reigns line earlier where, I'm not just a guy, I'm the guy. That's early Roman Reigns trying to get over right there. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Moxley, I don't think anybody is really questioning his promo skills, his impassioned ability to cut a promo. I think that we're just, at least myself, I'm kind of in a state of confusion right now as far as where this title's going. Yeah. I mean, what do we have? That's Labor Day weekend, so it is not this upcoming weekend, but the next weekend. And we got
3 pay-per-views next weekend.
Here's the thing. AEW, never to this level, but as good a job as they've done of making their week-to-week shows mean something. We've had several instances where we get right up to the AEW pay-per-view and we don't really know what stories are going to be told on the show. And you look at how much stuff they're having to book on the fly right now. And we've had, 3 months since the last AEW pay-per-view?
July, I think, because we had Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I see. I don't know that I count that as an actual AEW pay-per-view.
Okay, then, Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Let's get to the main event. Death Triangle taking on United Empire. Great match. Absolutely great match. I still have a problem, obviously, with some of the goofiness. I loved the move Pac had to do. Thank you for showing just Pac, because if you'd have showed the other guy standing there for 15 minutes while he got his balance, it would have just took me out of the spot. But you know what? AEW does cater to the live crowd, and the live crowd loved this match. I mean, they were so into it. And they were into all the stuff last night, and they had a great time. But great match. I love that United Empire won because that sets up the Dynamite finals, because there's Dynamite and Rampage finals. That sets up the Dynamite finals against the Elite, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega.
Do you think maybe that gets moved up to Dark because it worked for the title match last week?
Knock it off.
They're going to do this earlier on Dark.
That is AEW Dynamite.
And Matthew. I will throw this out there, Meathead. Nobody lost a mask, but we did have somebody lose a box last night.
He did lose a box in that match, and we alluded to it earlier. Kip Sabian, had been sitting in the crowd forever. Finally took his box off. He had a Joker-esque kind of gimmick going on because the guy that was sitting ringside the whole time was underneath a box with his mouth taped up. That's claustrophobia times 100 right there for me.
Then I was a little bit freaked out by that. I felt kind of uncomfortable.
Yikes. I hope he had holes in the tape because woof. I don't know what's happening. I mean, folks, I'll be watching tomorrow night on Rampage. I'll watch next week on Dynamite, next week on Rampage, and I'll be watching the pay-per-view. But what the hell's going on? I have no idea.
Beats me.
Wow. All right. Tomorrow, we will get ready for Rampage. We'll get ready for SmackDown. And then next week, folks, we have 3 wrestling pay-per-views. 1 on Saturday the 3rd, 2 on Sunday the 4th. Those are all point qualifying pay-per-views for the PWR Fantasy Draft, who will be opening up transactions, starting next week, Friday. So, for Linda K, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. We will talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.